Hey everyone, Dan here with the Designer Show with John Schrader and our guest Loren Schreiber, Schirber, not Schreiber, Schirber. Loren, welcome. Thanks for being with us today.
Glad
Gosh,
to be here.
this will be cool. So we'll get started here in just a little bit. A couple of quick intros here, commercial. So if you're joining us for the first time, be sure to check out our website over at chiefexpertsacademy.com, where we have different things for chief architect training and things that go with chief architect. All right, so that wasn't much of a commercial, but it was something. All right, Loren.
Let's make sure that everybody puts comments in the comment section, questions, and what you respond to what Loren's saying. So
yes, exactly. So we'll talk. We'll keep reminding people throughout the meeting here. So please post comments, say hi, whatever you want to do. So we've got a ton of information to share today. Loren has done an amazing job. So it's just really excited to have him on the call so we can talk about this. So Loren, let's so you've been doing this quite a while, but before we get into that stuff, let's just have a little fun question. What's your favorite hobby? What do you like to do that's not work related?
Yeah, I like to golf.
Well, you are a golfer. Okay.
Yeah. Last year I got it's called a public country club membership, but it's $59 a month, and there's 100 courses, and you can golf for free. So
cool.
Kind of a subscription, and gives you the incentive to get out and walk. You pay for a cart, but anyway. So yeah, that's my little commercial.
Where do you get that membership from?
They have a waiting list, but it's called the Public Country Club.
I'll be danged. Yeah, I'll bet they have a waiting list.
Yeah. So
for that.
And there's certain hours you can't use it and stuff, but generally, yeah, if you get out, city courses, those kind of courses. So, yeah, I like to get out and golf and enjoy the nice outdoor weather and try to keep it great.
Well, I mean, Minnesota has, I think I read, the third most golf courses in the United States.
Wow.
Something like third or fifth, something like that. We have a lot of golf courses. Go figure. Yeah. We can only use them, 8-9 months out of the year if we're lucky. If we're lucky. Hopefully we'll be lucky. But cool. Yeah. Well, good for you. And we got a few people logging on. Frank, how you doing? Diane. Hey, Diane. Nice to see you. And let's see who else we got here that said hi. A Facebook user. So if you're on Facebook, you can click a link and you have to approve that we can show your name on Facebook. So go ahead and click that link. So Loren, you've been in this industry for a while. Tell us a little bit about how you got into it. And while you do that, I want to bring up something on your website. So you guys on the call, and I'll show this a bunch of times. Let's go over to, let's see where to go here. You just go over to castlebri.com. Loren's website that he's got there, he's done such an amazing job on. It's like an education center in itself. So you guys will learn a lot by spending some time on Loren's website. Loren, why do you put so much information on your website?
I think, it started out with kind of transparency and then also just content on the website. So the more content you have, the better you're going to come up on kind of search results. But ultimately, my dad, who started the company, was a teacher, and so he believed strongly in an educated consumer is a good consumer. So our job's to help people with their old house, and they all have a wish list that's longer than their budget. And the better job you can do with somebody on this project, the sooner they'll get to the next project and help them make smart decisions, with their house and do things in the right order. And so generally, we just try to put a lot of information out there because, frankly, a lot of websites. Competitors' websites are 5 pages, how to contact us, 4 pictures of projects, who the team is, and not much to it. And so we just kind of took the opposite tact of continually adding new information and more information and more detail.
You do a phenomenal job. And if you scroll down the homepage here, we're getting some crackling noise. I wonder where that's coming from. Hopefully that's not Loren's phone. Well, we'll keep working through it here. Audio is always an issue sometimes. So if you scroll down on the homepage, let me try something. Let me just, oops. I muted Loren for a second there. Yeah, Loren, it's your phone. Oh, lost
My
him.
phone.
I think it was, but we'll keep working for it. I can mute you while you're not talking, and that might help a little bit. We were having trouble. We tested yesterday, and we were having trouble with his computer, so we went on his phone now. So, why would it be crackling like that? Any idea, John?
I have no idea.
All right. Okay, we'll just work through it. The joy of technology. So, Lauren, I'm going to mute you every now and then, or you can mute yourself too by clicking on the mic in the picture that you're doing. So when you're not talking, you can just click that mic.
I can. Yes. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. You're on a phone. You don't have a mouse handy.
Sure. And I can try.
I think we'll just bear with it. I didn't even really notice it, Dan, until you said something. So
okay. Well, it just maybe it's my headsets. I don't know. They do pick up a lot of noise. Anyway, sorry for that noise there, but let's just keep moving forward. So on Loren's homepage, when you scroll down here, you have nothing but the facts. And if we look at this, you can, I love how what your clients have said about you. And John and I were talking the other day, and we love that word transparent. So that's what we were just talking about. You like to be transparent with your clients, and everything has evolved into so much more than that. You talk about the types of projects that you've done. This is 2019. This is last year. And you talk about the average cost of a project, your total sales, number of projects, sales and production. And, on the bottom here, Loren, tell me a little bit about, well, actually, let's come back to this. I want to finish kind of on this that's a little bit about how you got into business and where this all came from. And a good way to learn a little bit about Loren's journey is to go to the tab About Us and go to the infographic tab. And at the bottom of this, there's a link under the 2018 infographic that'll bring up this PDF. And on the bottom of that sheet, it talks about when your father started the business back in 1977. So, and then you came on in 2005. So
It was around 2003 when I joined the company.
Okay.
I had worked in the corporate world a few years after getting a marketing and entrepreneurship degree from the University of North Dakota, and decided I wanted to do something more entrepreneurial and work while I was getting my MBA. And so while I went to the Carlson School, I joined Castle, kind of helping my dad with whatever they needed help with at Castle. So
yeah, I'm trying to remember. I worked for your father back in would have been in the 80s, I think, for about a year or two, as a carpenter. He hired me as a carpenter back then. Yeah. Loved working with him. Great guy.
He was.
Yeah. Your father's.
You were a great lead carpenter and project
Thanks,
manager.
yeah.
He was telling me that today. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there was.
And then he said that.
Yeah.
He said it's too bad you got so good at chief architect, and had to go and do that. So.
Yeah. Oh well. We all make our choices here. But yeah, your father has done a great job in the industry, and he's done so much to help so many people. So a lot like you are doing here. So I can kind of see where, it runs in your DNA to share good information and to help people in the industry. So congratulations to you. But this is a great infographic again. So you have them on your site, and you go back quite a number of years to 2012, it looks like. So cool.
Yeah. It's a fun way to kind of chronicle the year and how many projects you did and how many employees you had, and kind of graphically get across who you are.
Yeah. So your first, I kind of got back in touch with you guys back in the early 2000s, and I used to measure a lot of jobs for you and do the as-builts and help you with the plans while you were growing your business. And you started your first location. So tell me that process that you went through where now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations. So this was the first one. I remember helping you a lot with the plans on that one. So why locations? What's up with that? Why do you have 5? Oh, you there? Uh-oh. You there, Loren?
Audio, Dan.
Oh, no.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Uh-oh. Hello, Loren. So you can't hear me at all? Loren, you want to try doing a hotspot to your laptop? Or you think your laptop had the mic problem? Of course, you can't hear what I'm saying anyway. If he doesn't have audio. Loren, we can hear you. Can you there, Loren? Okay, yeah, do the earbuds.
Hello?
Yeah, there. Can you hear us now? Hello. You're not muted, are you? Hello, Loren. Doggone it.
I cannot hear.
Hate it when it happens. Yeah.
Now we lost.
Jump out and jump back in. Yeah, that's probably the right thing. I thought he was going to go home and use his computer at home.
So Dan, let's ask you a question.
Yes.
What's one of your favorite memories about back in that day when you were a lead carpenter and working on projects like that?
I've always, that's all I ever did was remodeling back in the day. And I like the challenge of remodeling because you get to figure stuff out all the time. And I'd tell Marty, that's Loren's father, just send me, give me your toughest jobs because I love figuring them out. And I'm really good at it. And I remember we had one kitchen that we had to cut to the walls and the floor was off like 2 inches. I mean, it was really off a lot. And they talked about floating and doing all this stuff. I said, no, let's just shim it all out and put new subfloor down, level it out, and we'll be good to go. So hell, by the end of the day, I had that done and we were good to go. But yeah, Marty was just a good guy to work with. He just kind of let you go. He gave you the instructions and let you go. He wasn't a micromanager.
Gave you the final picture, let you figure out how to do it.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much. And he was really good at not just explaining things, but teaching you what you needed to do at the same time in a really good way. So yeah, and Marty's still involved in the industry. He's retired now, but he's still involved in the industry. Oh, I got it. Loren's back. Loren, you back? Can you hear us now?
I'm back. I can hear things again. Sorry about that.
All right. Yay. All right. Uh-oh, there's my dog bell. Someone's at the door. Okay, so John had just asked me what I remember most about working for your father, and I just remember this one kitchen that we did was so out of level that the way that we fixed it was kind of fun. All right, so let's get back to this. So where was I? So you've got 5 locations. Why do you have so many locations? What's up with that?
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
Doesn't that strain your overhead?
It does and it doesn't. I guess it provides us with a lot of leads. We started out, working in my dad's basement in Northeast Minneapolis.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of outgrew the basement. There was 5, adults coming to my parents' basement every day going down there. And my mom got a little sick of that. And we decided to grow a little. So we bought this dilapidated building in Northeast Minneapolis and fixed it up. And
That one.
yep, and that became our headquarters, and we put a showroom in, and we said, wow, this is really convenient for people to come here and pick out all their materials in one spot, and see their countertops and their cabinets together, and pick the knobs, and pick a paint color. And he said that's pretty efficient to get all that stuff figured out before a job starts. So, and then people would pop in or give us a call, and they'd say like, welcome to the neighborhood. And we're kind of like, well, we've been here for 25 years, but now that we exist. So. We said, oh, this is starting to get us some leads and some business. And so.
Oh, no. Oh, Loren, we lost you.
So after a year or two of having, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yeah. No problem.
The downside of working on an iPhone here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after we were in our office for a year or two in Northeast Minneapolis, I think I was at a home show in Highland Park at Cretin-Durham Hall or something, and it kind of hit me after the third or fourth person said to me like, great conversation talking about their whatever project, and they kind of say, you know, is there, oh, where are you from? Oh, we're from Northeast Minneapolis, which is 5 miles away from there.
Right.
They say, oh, yeah, that's a real long way away. We'd really like to work with somebody from St. Paul.
Yeah.
And so after kind of seeing the space come up in St. Paul, that was a affordable lease. We said, well, let's go open a St. Paul showroom, and we'll get a 651 phone number that runs over here to Northeast, and see if we get more work in St. Paul. And so through a good real estate location with high traffic and visibility, and then some more advertising and a good salesperson over there, we were able to grow, to a couple $1 million in sales. And we said, this works to have multiple locations. So
Mm-hmm.
the answer is that by being the local remodeler, we're able to get, maybe a third or 40% of our leads from people who drive by our showrooms every day. And
Nice.
then it's a real convenience or a selling point for the designers to be able to have a spot to meet with customers and keep all the samples and
Cool.
see everything in one spot, see our workmanship, or really kind of help convince people to hire us.
So you can see you've got a lot of different, you can see where your leads are coming from, obviously, where you do a lot of your work. I see you do some work out west and up in the northern suburbs too. So it's working for you. It's working well, huh? So
It is. One year we did a Yep.
Oh, you're still there. Okay. And right now, so you have, you say you have your headquarters. So this is your headquarters right here. It's your Castle World headquarters. I love, you're not mincing any words on that one, are you? He's got the full size banner on there. Did we lose him a lot again? Daggone it. You still there, Loren? Okay. This is our first iPhone interview. I guess we have to make sure that
I want you to elaborate a little bit more, Dan, on Loren's dad and how he taught you and let you loose and stuff like that.
I don't know. I'd been self-employed before I worked for Marty. And then I don't remember why I quit. I was in a partnership and we split up. I've got lots of those stories. So I was in a transition, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So that's when Marty just said he had some work, and I said, sure, why not?
Yeah.
So what did I learn from Marty? I mean, again,
the way he taught you and the way he let you go to do it the way you thought it needed to be done and stuff like that. That seems like the preferred way to teach and grow people.
Yeah.
It
really is. But I was a really good, even when I was a kid, I was always building stuff. So I was just a natural born carpenter, and I was always good at figuring stuff out. So, I was kind of one of those guys that, boy, if you could find a bunch of guys like that to be in your business and work with you, you'd be good to go. And that's the challenge. Okay. We're back again, Loren.
Back again.
Sorry. All right. So you got the 5 locations, you got your world headquarters working well for you. So each location is like its own marketing tool. Plus you're closer to that neighborhood, which makes perfect sense. So, none of them are big, splashy places other than your production warehouse. Looks like you do a lot of things there.
We do. Yep. And we do a lot of stuff. It's kind of centrally located between the rest of them. Yeah. The other showrooms are small by industry standards. They're 600 square feet to 1,400. So,
okay.
I mean, they're not 10 kitchen vignettes. There's one kitchen with doors where you can see the rest of the style. So,
yeah. So, who would be your first employee to hire? All right. Interesting question.
Yeah.
Um,
I, personally, I would say that my skills lie in marketing and sales. And so
yeah.
I think owners can sell and market and design probably on the front end, but maybe somebody on the production side um,
Yeah.
to take
So
over
when we,
running.
so this is really a good graphic too, your management team. So, I mean, you've got quite a team here of managers and then all the carpenters that work on the jobs. Uh, so you've developed a really good base of people in your company. And how do you keep these people? Uh,
Yeah, we try to be a great place to work where, we don't micromanage people. We give them their tasks and their goals and their processes and try to ask them to get along and be adults and, work with their coworkers. And, um, you know, we try to have great benefits, competitive pay, give people the opportunity to grow and take on new responsibilities, try to be creative and not make it too stale or stagnant, and
sure.
try to have A players. I mean, when there's uh, it's that involves I liken it to like we're trying to be like a professional sports team. That it's not. We used to say we want to be like a family, but you kind of if you think about it, like you can't ever fire your family, right? Like
Yeah.
hey
Yeah.
son, you're just not making the grades, we're kicking you out, right?
Yeah.
So um you really have to think about it like it's great to feel like family, but at the end of the day it's a business. And so
Yeah.
you kind of have to look at it like a sports team where if you're not fulfilling your role, like then we got to find somebody who can fulfill the role. So it is, it's just we're not perfect at the hiring side of things by any means. Half of people work out after a year or two. And then once they make it past that, people tend to stay a long time. So if they're a good fit. So
Yeah. Well, I've been dealing with like, Amy. I've been talking with her for many, many years about training and things like that. And some of the other guys in your company I've known for a long time. So yeah, you got a good group there. And yeah,
yeah, and then
keep up
we
the good
try to
work.
hire, when somebody smart is moving to the Twin Cities and they say, I'm an awesome carpenter and I'm moving up here, and it's like, all right, let's try to hire them. And yeah, some of those fall in your lap, and then sometimes you're looking at resumes and saying, this person's worked a couple places that are real good
Yeah.
competitors and sound like, they at least are trained in and know the industry, and let's give them a shot. So
Yeah. Yeah. So John Bruce does work for Castle. We were
That's
talking, yes, we were wondering about that the other day. I noticed that. So yeah, and you do a nice job of, really kind of, giving people the recognition they deserve and again, just give them their job and let them go do it. And
mhm.
that's a great way to do it. But, along with that, when you talk about a sports team, great analogy, by the way. Alex was saying that, he loves the sports team analogy. Or Diane said that, sorry. Um, it is a great analogy because you think about it, what happens on a sports team? Well, they go out and perform their job, and what's happening on the sideline? Everybody's measuring everything that they do. And when we look at what you've got going here, the way you measure things, I mean, your job costing must be phenomenal. I mean, you must know every penny that goes everywhere within your business. So the systems that you've set up uh, must really be working well for you.
Yeah, then that's like, T sheets for tracking our guys,
Yep.
log in and use time tracking, and that
Mm-hmm.
syncs with QuickBooks. And so that makes it fairly easy. And then it's just a matter of receipts when they come in to make sure they're coded to the right job,
Sure.
the right category. So, I mean, the estimating system and the receipts kind of have to match up. So,
Makes sense. Yeah. And I remember, yeah, you've been developing that for a long time. So I know you've worked hard on that over the years. But let's just take a look at, let's go look at your process. So again, everybody that's on the call here, if you're watching the recording, go over to Castle BRI and just peruse through Loren's website. You'll learn a ton. I just congratulate you on doing such a great job and being so open and willing to share it with everybody. It really, I think what you're doing really helps level the playing field for everybody in this industry. I mean, everybody that works in this industry and works hard and does a great job deserves to make a fair living, a fair profit. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And you've done some really great things here to lay out how that comes together. You have a thing here called the design build process flow chart. So tell me about the philosophy that goes into your thinking of what you're doing in your company and how it works.
Sure.
Let's open it up here.
Yeah, so this is kind of for the project management geeks out there. We get a lot of like accountants and engineers and stuff who like have read this whole thing and they're like, "This is so awesome that you actually have a process and like
Yeah.
like how it's supposed to work." I tell them it doesn't always work like this, but this is generally how it's supposed to work.
Well,
it's
a roadmap. If you have a map, there's a pretty good chance you might arrive at the destination with a little bit less friction, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And it should be clear, like whose responsibility is it to do this thing and this thing and this thing, and what order do things happen in, and how do you handle it if it's a change order or deviations from the process. So, our general philosophy is to have a defined process. It's all written down, but I wouldn't say that people actually go back and look at it every single day when they do every single thing. But
Right.
It's a good reference for when something does come up, or we say, we're really having a problem with this, or for clients to say, wow, look at this is, why does it take 5 months to do this addition? It's like, there's all these, or why does it take 3 months to do design and a month to get ready and then, 3 months to do this project? And it's like, well, all these things have to happen.
I use this in some of my classes sometimes when I'm teaching about design and the importance of design, because you guys charge for all your design services, and I think we were talking yesterday a little bit. You're somewhere around the 3-4% range for the design.
Philosophy wise there, we kind of look at, we've tried a whole bunch of different things over the years, and ultimately like we're a volume business, and that we're trying to do 170 remodeling projects for the year, and the design helps a little bit, but it's not going to pay the bills. We're not an architecture firm.
The design fees.
Yeah. I look at the design fees as the design process is like engagement before marriage, but the design fees are like a split commitment. Like we're not going to make a ton of money if we just do the design. Our job is to get people through that design process, to keep them on track, to show them products that fit in their budget, to help them get a project that works for their budget. And so if we get to the end of that and we're way over budget, or the project's evolved or morphed and we didn't talk about budget, then we don't get the job a lot of times, or they go shop it and bid it with somebody else. And so that design fee is not a ton of money, but it's really kind of it's a sign that they're committed to working with us. And it covers our time. And sometimes people are like, we don't need plans. It's like, I don't care if you need plans or not, we need plans internally. Like my guy who shows up to put your tile surround in needs a plan to look at. So congrats that you don't need one, but our process dictates that we have a set of plans, so we do the right thing and build what we talked about.
I talk about that all the time, that this design part is one of the most important parts of the job, because without a good plan, everything else in your flow chart here kind of goes to hell.
And the other part of our philosophy is to like pick out everything down to the grout color, the knobs, the transition strips, what color the switch plate covers are, and have it in our estimate for the site visit when we get subs bids, not TBDs. And really, like, the goal is to have no change orders, or to have very few change orders. And so it's nice to be able to tell people on the front end, like that we have 2% of our sales that come from change orders, and half of that's customer requested items. And so we've got the surprises down to 1%, and if you know which tile it is, then if that tile has a 12-week lead time or is in stock, so you can actually put a forecast together for the job without issues.
This is really, really excellent. And it just really, it helps the customer understand that, I don't just send a check and it magically appears, much as we see on TV all the time. And you've addressed that, which I love, not as seen on TV. So everybody on the call here, make sure you go to Not As Seen on TV on the website and watch these 2 little clips. They're excellent. You really explain in real plain language the reality of a real project, what it really takes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people ask, like, why does it take, 30 days to remodel your bathroom? And it's like, well, it's a small space, and if you can fit two people in there, you're lucky. And
Yeah.
you know, it's one trade at a time, and the drywall takes 5 days and this part takes this many days, and
Yeah.
we can do
Yeah.
these three things on this day. And so, yeah, it just lays out, kind of a
Yeah.
typical remodel and timeline.
Yeah, nice job. Again, I congratulate you on doing a great job. It just really lays it out clear. I've had a lot of people, I've told a lot of people about these videos and sent them over there. So, in fact, I should post those in my blog. I think I'll do that because they're really well done. So, back to your process now. So, you have a little overview, process, flow chart, a budget, estimate. This is really fascinating too because you don't see this very often. I mean, in fact, the only other place I've seen this kind of information, even somewhat similar, is on the Remodeler. Is it the Remodelers Magazine, Cost versus Profit
Sure.
pages?
Hmm.
And here you are, a contractor in Minneapolis, laying out all these different kinds of projects with all the costs involved.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Why do you do that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, so much of kind of what we're doing on the front end is kind of qualifying people and trying to, tell them, what a project's going to cost. And so just over the years, we've kind of made a set of 30 or 40 of our most typical projects. And it's quite a bit of work because each year you got to go in and recreate, 40 new estimates and make PDFs and put them on the website. But it's worth it in that, my job as the sales manager, and everybody's a little bit of a sales manager, whether you have employees or not. You get a phone call or you talk to somebody on the phone about a project. And you can't just be like, the kitchen's 70 grand. You got to talk to them about, what they want to do and what their house is, and how, when it was built and the goals for the project and why they want to do it.
Yeah.
But ultimately you're trying to get at, like, are these people trying to spend 10 grand or 40 or, 60 or 100, or, what's their budget, and are they a good fit for us? Are they okay with the timeline? And, what are their different options? And so we just try to talk to people about, we're not only selling Cadillacs here, we've got, options for a makeover in your kitchen. We've got options for a complete remodel that's more moderate. We've got options for higher end, more classic, and so we can do more custom. And so just trying to have some parameter conversations around, this costs 40 to 60 grand, and this costs 10 to 30,000, and this costs 70 to 90,000. And so, and giving people that information, because so much of the industry just puts pretty pictures out there and says, look how
Mm-hmm.
awesome we are, and is kind of willing to chase everything that comes through the door. And so people are sometimes turned back a little bit, or they like, we want to have somebody out to do a bid. And I tell them, like, I want to have a phone conversation with you first for 15 to 30 minutes and to talk through our process, our timeline, our warranties and guarantees and costs, to see if we're a good fit. Because if I
Right.
send a designer out, it's 5 hours of work for them to drive out, meet with them, drive home, do an estimate, and follow up. So,
Right.
there's a definite cost to that, in that they could be working on somebody else's design. They could be going on a different, better lead.
Yeah.
So, the most important half an hour is really that first phone call, in my opinion. And so these are what I look at when I'm on the phone with people. I'm like, you should look at our website and you should click on this, and this is going to show
Yeah.
you, about what it's going to cost. And if you've got the same 12 by 12 kitchen as everybody else in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and you want new cabinets and to open up the wall and whatever it is, like, this line item spells out, um, and so, yeah, so
So there's a question kind of related to different levels of pricing. Do you use select wood and exotic woods in your projects?
I would
And
say, yeah, I would say not often. My general philosophy is that I would rather sell two $70,000 kitchen remodels than one single $140,000 kitchen remodel.
oh
And
yeah,
it's easier to do those two standard over and over kitchens, with
yeah,
white painted cabinets and subway tile and, quartz countertops, than it is to do the curved island with the raised arch top and the onyx underlit back, whatever it is, like the
yeah.
super high end. So most of what we're doing is not in $1 million houses that are super high end. These are
Well,
three.
You carved your niche out well. I mean, you recognize what you're good at, and really you've kind of taken off from where your father left off, and you've just brought it to a new level. And because that's your father would always do these kinds of projects in, South Minneapolis, older houses, story and a half, smaller houses, I'm just really thrilled that they're amazed at how well you've carved out that niche and you run with it. So this is cool. And
there's another question up higher, Dan, about how many projects your project managers have going at the same time. And I assume because they're doing a lot of the same stuff, they're able to handle more.
Yeah. So we have 4 project managers. They kind of each cover a quadrant of the area. So one will cover north side of town, one covers east, one covers south, one covers west. And so they have a tighter geographic area that they're covering. They'll usually have between like 5 and 10 projects at a time that they're managing. Our projects, most of our projects are in the like $30,000 to $120,000 range. So you're talking kitchens, baths, basements, attics. They may have one addition or 2 additions going on at a time. If they've got a $400,000 whole house remodeling addition, we probably have less projects for them because that's a pretty time-consuming one.
So do you look at projects out of your area, that you kind of designated area, where you go out like to the farther Lake Minnetonka or the farther edges of the town?
That's a little far. We try to stay within 25 miles of our production headquarters, which doesn't quite make it to Stillwater or Rosemont or those kind of things, but covers a good portion of the Twin Cities. We do, we do have built into our estimating system a question that says how far away is it, and as it gets further away, the price goes up.
Oh, okay.
Slightly, yeah.
Well, you're going to have more management time involved, so
more mileage to pay. And
Yep.
So your project managers are doing 5 to 10 at a time. I imagine if you were doing the ultra custom kitchens for the $1 million houses and stuff like that, that'd probably drop down to 2 or 3.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. And they're really they might have 1 or 2 that are starting up, 4 that are really going, 1 or 2 that are in the punch list and finishing up. And then they're also kind of working as a team with our designers. So as our designers take people through the design and planning process, that PM is doing a review, that PM is, going to a site visit to meet the subs and help get the bids, and then taking over once the contract is signed. And so, they got their hands full. There's a lot of, they have to give a lot of feedback and kind of redline plans or help with that process. Although we have other people that really help with like cabinet orders and window orders and some of the more detailed areas.
So with your showrooms, you must really enjoy having more control over that whole selection process too, don't you? Do you use a lot of the same materials on all these different jobs? You've kind of selected some of the best stuff that you use over and over again?
Definitely. Yeah, we like that. It's inconvenient, I think, for a lot of customers to go to this plumbing supply house and this place to look at cabinets and this place to look at lighting. And we do have the same, vendors that we try to use over and over again. And that makes it a little easier once you get to know a cabinet line or a countertop vendor or
So how do you manage keeping all your showrooms up to date regularly?
Yeah, so we have a design manager, Amy, who helps the designers on projects and then also kind of manages the showrooms or vendor relationships. And then there's kind of one designated designer that's assigned to each showroom that will help, like, with minor tasks or kind of makes that their home base. And so it's a lot of work to manage, when a new product comes out or something's discontinued, we need to get this tile out of all 4 showrooms so we don't spec it anymore. And, there's 1,000 different tiles there.
It's a lot to keep track of. I hear contractors all the time saying, I want to have a showroom. And it's like, you sure? Because it's a lot of work, man, keeping them up to date.
It is. Yeah, it is. But there is a definite benefit to it as well. Of just sales aspect.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've laid out a bunch of them already. The marketing and just the exposure alone is invaluable. And then have a place where people can meet. Of course, that's probably been a little dicey these days. Just on and on. So a lot of benefits there. So
yeah, I would say that they've never been high walk-in traffic. Like we're
Okay.
open by appointment only. So it's pretty much, for those customers in design.
Well, before the COVID thing, were you still doing your educational things? Was a couple times a month?
Yeah, we were. Yep.
Okay.
We'd have little educational classes on how to plan your kitchen remodel or how to plan your bath remodel or attic and basement.
Were those good for
classes.
leads? Did you generate generate many projects out of those? Leads are one thing, projects are another, of course.
Honestly, no. Like there's not a ton that turned into projects. It was
Okay.
a lot of do-it-yourselfers or folks trying to learn as much as they could. I think, I mean.
Okay. Will you continue to do them again at some point?
I think so. I mean, I think this new world we live in has opened up, the opportunity to use StreamYard or like, technology. Like, why not?
Yeah.
So I think, things are evolving and changing. There's definitely, in my opinion, when it comes to marketing avenues, the parades and the home shows and things that, appeal to a demographic that's older, like as old as Dan, that age, kind of, Just kidding.
Thanks a lot.
Anyways,
Good one there, Loren.
Yeah, I snuck that in there.
Yeah, but the streaming and online and YouTube and other, website you can go to and watch something whenever you want. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that why not do that? Like create the digital content and share it.
Exactly. Yeah. Good for you. No, that's cool. We got a question here. How are you dealing with the current material shortages, price increases?
Yeah. Just we've had to adjust our estimating system, or double the price of all the lumber and decking and those kind of things.
I know, it's scary, man.
It is, yeah. I mean, so far we've had to wait for a few things like, that we've not been able to get or had to, delays on. We plan our jobs out so far and we're booked out a ways that most of it's manageable. Like, if you have a 12-week long project and you need carpet, you've got 12 weeks of lead time. So we pick everything out at the beginning. So my general philosophy is that like, we're going to win some and lose some on the wood. So what's going to happen is I'm going to bump up our estimator. At some point, this prices are going to come back down and we're going to win some on the backside because we're going to have too much money in there when the price comes back down. So we're going to lose a few here where, the lumber just cost $1,000 more than the $1,000 we had in the estimate. And that sucks, but it's generally speaking, like wood and materials are 19% of our project costs. So labor and subs are the big ones, right? And that framing material is, 20% of the overall material cost. So you're only talking about 3 or 4% of the, some of these jobs is higher, right? So you just got to suck it up. And, I personally don't believe in like trying to go back to the customer and be like, we just got screwed on lumber, so you need to pay us more. It's like if you have a different business model where your time and materials or whatever it is, then, great, that worked out for you. But
and I imagine your lead time from signing to starting is not too far apart. So
4 to 6 weeks,
Yeah.
I mean, so it's longer than like, and then it'll be another month before we need material. So like the lumberyard isn't going to guarantee the prices. So
no.
We just got to try to forecast where it's going to go and plan ahead and assume that we're going to like overprice some when the price comes back down and that plants will come back online here with a general economics of supply and demand.
Yeah. So you've got a great Q&A section, frequently asked questions. So this is going to answer a ton of people's questions. I see you put your different forms that you use right here. What is this? This is choosing a remodeling contractor. Oh yeah, this is a nice article. Did you write this?
My wife did when she worked for Castle like 18 years ago, but really through kind of an interview process with my dad.
Okay.
What should the average person think about when you're interviewing meeting with contractors. So
Wow, a lot of information here. You write a book, man.
it's pretty much a book. It's like 30 pages. I joke that it's like if you need something to help you fall asleep at night, it's pretty thorough. So.
Yeah. No, that's quite a document. Holy smokes. That's an education in itself for a contractor. Read this thing.
It is, yeah. It's a little bit of a roadmap of like our philosophy and ways and how to,
what's the remodeling process. I love how it's so customer focused. I mean, you're really trying to educate your clients. So tell me about we talked a little bit about your closing ratio, if you're okay to share some of that information.
Sure.
If you...
Yeah. Philosophy wise, my philosophy is that, you have to do a bunch of marketing or some marketing to get leads so you can pick the best ones and go after those and stay focused on a certain niche or area. We get a lot of leads, like maybe 6 to 10 leads a day. And so it's more of like a spigot of like so many that it's hard to keep up with. But half of those are handyman or small projects, and some of them are for bigger projects. And so, it's really about kind of getting back in touch with those people and scheduling, try to schedule a call with each of those leads. And so, of the people that contact us and I say, please schedule a call through this app on our website, about half of those people actually do that and schedule a call. So, sometimes we're sending back like links to our website, like here's an example of a kitchen remodel cost or a second floor addition, and we're kind of looking at, sharing that information. And I think that disqualifies some people who just didn't look on the website or see,
sure,
what it costs or whatever. But, and I think some of that happens naturally through them talking to other people or whatever else too. So if I schedule a 30-minute call with people on the phone, about half of those move on to meeting with a designer because, our timeline of design taking a couple months works, our price range of, their project versus their budget works. Overall we're a fit. So I would say about half of the people that we get in touch with or talk to become an appointment. Of those on small projects or handyman, we probably sell about half of those, or 50%. I mean, it's pretty high. And our small projects or handyman projects might be $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 projects.
Sure.
So maybe 70, of build a screen porch or whatever. So they're not necessarily tiny projects. Bigger projects like kitchens, baths, basements, attics, I would say that about 25% of the leads we go on become projects. Now this might be after 1 year, right? So
yeah,
some people right away are like, let's do it, we're gonna get going. A lot of people come back 6 months or 8 months later,
people are gathering information. Yeah, that happens.
And most of what we sell are wants, not needs. And so,
true.
Right.
That becomes really apparent when COVID hits and everybody puts it on hold.
So tell me a little bit about your educational home tour that you do. I mean,
sure.
you do your own home and garden. What do you call those? Home tours.
Parade of homes.
Parade of homes. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So
right
we spent a lot of years kind of participating in the local parade of homes and some other Minneapolis, St. Paul home tours, and ultimately decided that the hard part was that you want to show off your biggest, best, nicest project because you're paying $3,000 to be on the tour. So okay, you show off your 2-story rear addition with a kitchen remodel and a master suite above, and it's got white cabinets, and okay, that's awesome, and it works because it applies to a lot of different kind of things and you get a lot of traffic. But everybody who goes on these tours are like, all there is these $1 million houses with these $500,000 projects, and I really just want my mudroom remodeled, right?
Yeah.
And so it's so unattainable and over their head that we're like, we could never just show a mudroom or a bathroom because it would be a waste of our investment. of time and effort and whatever
Right,
else. So
right.
we're like, we need to just show 12 of our own projects that are, real life, everyday, down to earth remodeling projects,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe have it the same weekend as the Parade of Homes, but just have our own tour. And so
Yeah.
what would it take for us to put together a little guidebook, mail it out to our customers, do some advertising, get some yard signs and some directional signs, and, give some customers a discount to be on our tour. And so, yeah, we've done it about 7 years, and
Yeah.
it's been it's another one of those ones where, like, it's a lot of work to have,
Yeah.
14 employees work Saturday and Sunday from noon to 5, and go punch list all these houses for a second time because you want it to look great during the tour, and discounts for being on the tour, and
Yeah.
So,
it
so
all.
you're giving your customers a discount plus a facelift
Well, I mean,
or stuff?
it's like usually like a $500 to $1,000 discount off the project.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, we're sending flowers over, and we're sending a cleaner to their house. And,
Oh wow.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a lot of coordination. And the employees, especially on the production side, are like, you telling me I have to work on the weekend in the fall? Like,
Uh-huh.
you're kidding me? So it's a lot of work. It's hard. We're moving towards like a smaller, localized, like 1 year in Southwest Minneapolis, and the next
Oh,
year in St. Paul, and the next year in Northeast,
it's a good idea. Yeah.
to have 5 houses or 7 houses. Because over the course of it's another one of those. I'm not a big fan of branding, but it is a branding thing. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
you maybe get 50 leads during the course of the weekend, which it's really a lot about, like, people who are thinking about hiring you. So most of what it is people who are like, we got a bid from Ashley, and we're trying to decide between your company and another company,
Yeah.
and this is like, hey, they just went and saw 5-year projects, and match your
Yeah.
project manager and your office manager and production team, and ask questions and open cabinets, and it's real hands-on. And so,
Right.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you keep doing it, so it must be generating some business for you. Uh,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is. It's, I think the other half of it is, besides the people who are thinking about hiring you, is like, you're doing a bunch of marketing. From a marketing perspective, I believe in, like, I'm not Coca-Cola. I don't have enough money to, like, always be advertising and everybody to know the name. So
Yeah.
you kind of got to look at it like a rifle approach, where you're really targeted, but then you still don't have enough money to be out there all year round. So this is more
Right.
of a philosophy of, like, I'm just going to advertise and spend a third of my marketing budget in 2 weeks to really be noticed before this home tour,
Okay.
and then do it in the fall because it's harder to stay busy through the winter, right? Like, that's the general philosophy of, like,
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I get a kick. You mentioned you're not a fan of branding, but I've never seen anybody brand as well as you do. So you got a great brand.
Yeah.
I just say that from a marketing perspective, like you'll talk to, like, people with glossy magazines for $4,000 print ads, and they're like, don't expect leads. This is branding, right? And
Oh,
so that's
yeah.
what I'm like, I'm a fan of leads, right? I need people who are going to remodel to call me. That's the point of doing this, right?
That's kind of why you're here, right?
Yeah.
So there's a picture of your team. I assume that you keep those fairly current, and this must be in your
in our warehouse. Yeah. We're gonna take a new one in a couple weeks. We're
Okay.
gonna have to have the masks on and get outside to a golf course. So
Oh,
Yeah.
here you go.
yeah,
And talk about how you go about finding people, and that like many companies, you're looking for people. So you've got a great page here talking about the different types of projects or positions you have open. So tell me a little bit about that.
yeah. Well, we're actually just in the process of hiring a HR manager, HR generalist with experience in recruiting. So
Oh, okay.
I'm seeing it as, I mean, I know that the key to having a great company and growing is having great people and great
Yeah.
employees on the team,
Yeah.
players. And so, so that is going to be their job, besides being an HR person, is to help us hire, a lead carpenter and a project manager and a designer who can, use chief architect and estimate and top of a million details. So that's going to be their job right now. We are not super great at it. We put it on our website, and we put it on Craigslist and maybe Indeed, and collect resumes and do some interviews and have a group of people do interviews to get multiple opinions, and hire and train. The training is kind of the key for a lot of it. We've got a really thorough training process that's a month and a half of shadowing people and getting trained in on different topics and different areas, and that seems to work. But really, you got to get your hands into projects and actually go through it to kind of really know it.
Cool. Well, if anybody on a call here is looking for a job,
yeah,
you guys looking for good people.
We are, yeah. We say that we need unicorns on the design side who can design, estimate, and sell. So, our estimator is pretty easy to use. It's an Excel spreadsheet, but you really got to be able to sell, the company and yourself, and sign contracts, and also design and be creative. So it's a unicorn type position.
So you've done a lot of things in a short period of time. So what, of all of those things in your career so far, what, besides your family now, what are you most proud of? What comes to mind that really I'm really psyched that we did this?
I'm driven by professionalism and being a good value. And so I like to try to bring some professionalism to the industry, and hopefully, we've got some guarantees we offer where we kind of hold ourselves to a standard that's higher than a lot of contractors. And so we've got a lifetime warranty on our workmanship.
Yeah. How does that work? How do you offer?
Yeah. Yeah. So we basically say that if we do something wrong, or, we've had things where we've recommended bad materials and gone back and replaced it or fixed it. But we kind of say if we put in a header and, you're getting a crack at your crown molding, and we've gone back and caulked crown molding and fixed tile grout lines that weren't, they were grouted instead of, using the caulk, or because, little stuff like that, basically. So it's basically punch list that can go on forever. And generally it goes away and people are not taking advantage of it.
Right. Within reason. Absolutely.
Yeah. So and then our second guarantee is a timeline guarantee. So every project has a timeline, and we say, this is going to take 10 weeks. If we go over that, then we start taking $40 a day off the bill. And then the big one is a no unforeseen cost guarantee. So that's we're the experts and we know the codes, and basically we have to do a thorough enough estimate where, if we could have seen this pipe over here, or we should have saw that there was a vent cap on the roof, or, they told us it's a little squishy over here and there might be some rot, or whatever it is. Or my biggest favorite one is we're not sure there's footings underneath those front steps. It's hey, let's go over there with a shovel and check, because who wants a $2,000 change order for footings on day 2 of the project? So
Diane mentions, what if at completion project do a video walkthrough? Although I don't think I let you finish your train of thought here about what you're most proud of.
So just trying to bring some professionalism to the industry and raise the standard for the whole industry.
Well, I will for one congratulate you, because you're doing a great job of it. So keep it up.
Thanks.
Yeah, this is your website. Like I say, your website is a class in itself. So people can learn a ton just coming to your site, both consumers and people in the trades. So it's just the right way to do it, the right way to be in front of people and say, hey, this is what it's all about. Diane just mentioned, what if at completion of project you do a video? I imagine you do a bunch of that anyway, don't you?
Not exactly that. We do try to take pictures along the way of roughing and walls that are open and everything. We send a photographer to maybe half the projects that we finish. But yeah, with the cell phones and everything nowadays, our IT guys are already on us because we've got 30,000 folder files, or 250,000 files on our web drive, and it's only supposed to have 25,000 to sync optimally. So you do get into some of those big files are harder to manage, but
And I see you're still using Chief like crazy. That's good to see.
Yeah.
So it's earning its keep for you.
We have
That's
something like
awesome.
8 or 9 licenses. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, I've worked with some of your people in the past, and yeah, I can see you guys are just continue to do a great job with it. So, so what would you like people on this call to take away from what we've discussed? Anything in particular that comes to mind?
Yeah, and just some general philosophy is like try to think like a startup. Try things on a small scale. Creativity always helps. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. As far as growing the company, I always kind of say like that. Don't make bets you can't afford to lose. Don't bet at all, basically.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
otherwise, like, I mean, it's going to take some risks, and it is all about like having good people, or people that are smarter than you, or better salespeople than you, or a better designer than you, or a better detail project manager than you. So, yeah.
Find those people that are better than you. Yeah.
And I guess I end up doing a little bit of everything. My job description always changes. Some people can handle it, some people can't. But yeah, that's kind of the as an owner or of a growing company, anyways, you're going to wear a lot of different hats and try to plug people in that are not many people can do everything. I could probably do everything, but not that well. So.
Yeah, I think the person's name is Jack, right? Well, cool. We're about out of time here. So, Loren, I really, really appreciate you taking some time here to share this information with everybody. And again, allowing everybody to take a peek at your website. And keep up the great work, man. You're doing a great job.
Thanks. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I generally, think as an industry, there's a million competitors. And so try to be open book and share and learn from each other. And you really got nothing to lose, because you really never are competing against any one company every time or all that happens. So,
Michael Stone always says, if someone brings up the competition, you just ignore that. It's not about the competition. It's about, you got to compete with your own numbers, your own self, and don't worry about the competition.
Yeah.
So, because we don't know what they're doing. We don't know what their numbers are. Anyway.
We don't know if
John,
they're, smart, whatever else.
Yeah. John, you got anything you want to add?
Everybody have a great weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the info, Frank. You're welcome. And everybody else on the call, thank you. And we will see you next time. This is Dan with Chief Experts Academy signing off with the Designer Show. Thanks again, Loren.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Bye, everyone.